He walks into the building like nothing's changed. Same hat, same calm, and that's exactly the point Andy Reid wanted everyone to see. After Kansas City's seventh loss of the season, after a 20-10 night that officially ended the Chiefs' reign over the AFC West, Reid didn't stage a crisis press conference. He sent a single message. Patrick Mahomes is steady, focused, and still the team's leader. That line, simple, almost boring, is a deliberate pivot away from hysteria. This is not spin, it's context. Let's be honest, the Chiefs lost a game they needed. Twice in that fourth quarter, they gambled on fourth down in their own territory and came up empty. Patrick Mahomes threw costly interceptions. The Chiefs' offense, which felt invincible not long ago, looked beatable. The math is brutal. Kansas City is 6-7, the AFC West is out of reach, and the postseason path is suddenly narrow enough to make you seasick. But Reid didn't hand the season a eulogy. He pointed to a leader who, by his account, isn't folding. Why that matters is bigger than one soundbite. Mahomes isn't just the guy who completes deep throws, he's the stabilizing axis of a franchise. When a star quarterback keeps showing up, heads don't slump, the meetings stay long and serious rather than panicked, and the team's identity doesn't sever overnight. Reid's message that Mahomes keeps his head up and understands his role is a crew chief's endorsement. It's also a blueprint for how a franchise tries to stop a slide. Trust the leader, own the problems, and fix them one rep at a time. Here's the painful flip side. Trust and optimism don't erase the cold numbers. To reach 10-7, the Chiefs must win out. 4 straight, and even 10-7 may not be enough without help. They no longer control their destiny. They're praying for losses from teams above them, praying for the Chargers, Texans, and others to stumble. That's a precarious place for a franchise that spent a decade building margins of error into championship runs. The cushion is gone, and with it, options get sharper, decisions more fraught. Mahomes' response in the locker room echoed Reid's public line, but with the soldierly brevity of someone who believes in action over headlines. "We've got to handle our business first," he said. "We've got to win the football games, and the rest will handle itself." Translation: fix the fundamentals. Stop giving the game away, and don't let narrative become the enemy. It's clean, but it also places the pressure squarely back on execution. So what does handle our business really look like for this team? First, it's about the offensive line and protection. Too many games this season have seen pressure collapse the pocket and force Mahomes into throws that aren't his best. If the Chiefs want to play to their identity, quick rhythm, explosive playmaking, Mahomes' improvisation when the plan breaks, they need the front to buy just enough time for those plays to breathe. Small wins in the trenches matter more now than any locker room pep talk. Second, ball security and risk management. Those fourth down gambles aren't bad in principle. This franchise has built a culture of aggressive decisions. But context matters. Make the call when the odds favor it. Don't manufacture heroics when the game is balanced on a knife edge. Turnovers have a way of snowballing. The Chiefs can't afford the luxury of creative folly unless it's surgically placed. Third, the mental reset. Losing fractures confidence. The antidote is discipline, practice tempo, simplified reads, emphasis on execution over theatrics. Reid's message that Mahomes hasn't wilted is partly about preventing panic from spreading. When the leader remains visible and purposeful, it helps the sideline and the locker room calibrate their own responses. That's a subtle, vital form of coaching that isn't measured in stats, but in the plays that look routine instead of desperate. There's also a roster construction angle that can't be ignored. The Chiefs have been built around speed, fit, and cohesion. Injuries and missed opportunities expose depth issues. If this team wants to right the ship, they need fewer cross-your-fingers moments and more predictable outputs. That means health, smarter rotation, and perhaps a few mid-season tweaks. But those are Band-Aids. The real work remains film, fundamentals, and tightening the screws. Now for the human beat. Mahomes is the kind of player scouts make highlight reels of, but he's also a person who will replay a bad night and use it as data. Reid's praise isn't an excuse for play. It's a portable lifeline, a leader given permission to fail and fix. That's the rare coaching moment. To support without sheltering, to demand more without removing responsibility. If Mahomes responds to that balance by sharpening his reads, protecting the football, and leaning on the run game when the pocket collapses, the Chiefs can still be dangerous. And let's not romanticize the odds. Even if Kansas City wins 4 straight, the playoff picture is crowded up top. Teams like Denver, New England, Buffalo, Jacksonville, and a single slip by the Chiefs or an upset elsewhere could shut the door. It's a brutal reality for a franchise used to carving room for error. But this is also the league's nature. Dynasties wobble the moment assumptions harden into expectations. The Chiefs have been excellent at answering that challenge in the past. The question is whether they have the necessary corrections in time. For the fans, Reid's message is comforting in a way only a coach can make comforting. It buys a week of calm while the real work happens. It doesn't solve the math and it won't erase the tape, but it does offer a tone: steady, accountable, and focused. The next 4 games are less about narrative and more about process. If the Chiefs can control the process, clean protections, fewer turnovers, smarter 4th down context, they'll at least give themselves a fighting chance. So watch the next game differently. Don't just tally scores. Look at pocket depth, pre-snap adjustments, and whether Mahomes gets real-time help from play calls designed to let him operate within a margin that favors success. If those elements start to click, Reid's calm won't look like bravado. It'll look like faith in a system that can still deliver. At the end of the day, Andy Reid's message is both simple and stern. The leader's steady, but the work hasn't been done. That's the most dangerous kind of truth in sports. It gives no comfort, only a mandate. The Chiefs can either respond by tightening the basics and fighting for every inch, or they can watch the season slip into a sequence of regrets. Mahomes showed up, now Kansas City has to show up with him. Kansas City Chiefs head coach Andy Reid sent a clear message about Patrick Mahomes' mindset after the team suffered its 7th loss of the season on Sunday night against the Houston Texans. The Chiefs have now lost 2 straight and sit at 6-7, officially eliminated from AFC West contention and barely clinging to postseason hopes. Their path to the playoffs is slim, and even running the table may not be enough to get them in. Despite the frustrating season, Reid says Mahomes hasn't flinched. Speaking with reporters on Wednesday, Reid praised his quarterback's mentality and steady leadership. "He's great," Reid said. "He's coming to work, keeps his head up at all times. He understands he's in a leadership position, and he's a good leader. You continue to get better. You don't hang your head." Kansas City would need to win its final 4 games to finish 10-7 and then hope for help from several teams in the AFC wild card mix. That includes the Los Angeles Chargers, whom the Chiefs face this week, the Houston Texans, and the Indianapolis Colts, who currently sit at 8-5. Mahomes echoed his coach's message about staying focused. "At the end of the day, we know that we've got to handle our business first," Mahomes said on Wednesday. "We've got to win the football games, and the rest will handle itself."